Welcome back, Mythstory and Legends fans. Today, we're diving into the penultimate labor of Heracles, the legendary quest for the golden apples of the Hesperides. Prepare for an epic tale filled with cunning, strength, and divine intervention. Our story begins with King Eurystheus of Mycenae, who assigns Heracles his 11th labor. This time, Heracles must retrieve the golden apples from the garden of the Hesperides, the nymphs of the evening and daughters of Atlas. These apples were no ordinary fruits. They were gifts from Gaia, the earth, to Hera on her wedding day to Zeus. Hera, the queen of the gods, treasured these apples for their beauty and divine properties. Placed in a garden at the western edge of the world, the apples were tended by the Hesperides, the daughters of Atlas, and guarded by a fearsome, 100-headed dragon named Ladon. This dragon was so vigilant that even the rustling of leaves could awaken it, making the task of stealing the apples seemingly impossible. Eurystheus, in his jealousy and fear of Heracles, hoped that this labor would finally be the hero's undoing. The garden's location was a mystery known only to a few, and the combined might of the Hesperides and Ladon was thought to be unbeatable. Heracles, however, accepted the task with his usual stoic resolve. He had already faced numerous challenges that tested his strength and wits, and he was determined to succeed in this penultimate trial. Heracles knew that to find the garden, he would need to seek guidance from those who had knowledge of the far reaches of the world. His journey would take him across lands and seas, encountering gods, titans, and mythical creatures. Each step brought him closer to the mysterious garden and the golden apples that represented not only a divine gift, but also the culmination of his arduous labors. Thus began Heracles' journey, a quest that would test every ounce of his strength, intelligence, and perseverance. The path ahead was uncertain and fraught with danger, but Heracles was no stranger to adversity. With each labor, he had grown not only in physical prowess, but also in wisdom and cunning. The retrieval of the golden apples would be no different. As Heracles set out, the gods watched with bated breath. This labor was not just a test of might, but a test of character. Would Heracles be able to overcome the seemingly insurmountable odds and return with the prized apples? Or would this be the challenge that finally defeated the greatest hero of Greek mythology? Heracles' journey to the garden of the Hesperides was fraught with challenges. Without a map or a clear path, he had to rely on the wisdom of others. His first stop was to seek out the shape-shifting sea god, Proteus. Proteus, known as the Old Man of the Sea, possessed the gift of prophecy and could see the future. However, he was notoriously difficult to catch, as he could change his form at will to evade capture. Heracles, undeterred by this, tracked down Proteus on a remote beach where the sea god often rested. The key to gaining Proteus' wisdom was to surprise him and hold on to him despite his transformations. Heracles approached Proteus while he slept, silently creeping up on the god. With a swift motion, he seized Proteus, who immediately began to change forms in an attempt to escape. He turned into a roaring lion, then a slippery eel, followed by a fierce serpent, and even transformed into a torrent of water. Heracles, with his unmatched strength and determination, held fast through every change. The struggle was intense and seemed endless, but Heracles' grip never wavered. Eventually, Proteus, realizing he could not break free, ceased his transformations and resumed his original form. Impressed by Heracles' tenacity, he agreed to answer his questions. Heracles explained his quest for the golden apples and asked for directions to the garden of the Hesperides. Proteus, still somewhat reluctant but bound by his promise, provided the crucial information. Proteus revealed that the garden lay far to the west, beyond the known lands at the edge of the world. He also warned Heracles of the dangers that lay ahead, including the vigilant Ladon and the protective Hesperides. With this knowledge, Heracles thanked Proteus and continued his journey. Heracles knew that reaching the garden would not be straightforward. The path was perilous, and he would need to rely on more than just brute strength. His encounter with Proteus had taught him the value of perseverance and the importance of seeking wisdom from those who held it. Armed with this new knowledge, he set off once more, his mind focused on the next steps of his quest. The journey was long and arduous. Heracles traveled through deserts, crossed mountains, and sailed over seas. Each step brought new challenges, But Heracles pressed on, driven by his indomitable spirit and the desire to complete his penultimate labor. Following Proteus' advice, Heracles journeyed across vast lands, encountering many adventures. One of the most notable was his meeting with the Titan Prometheus, who was chained to a rock as punishment for giving fire to humanity. Prometheus, a Titan known for his wisdom and defiance of Zeus, had been condemned to eternal torment. Each day, an eagle would arrive to feast on his liver, which would regenerate overnight, subjecting him to endless pain. As Heracles traversed the desolate mountain range where Prometheus was bound, he heard the Titan's cries of agony and decided to investigate. Upon seeing Prometheus suffering, Heracles was moved by compassion. Despite the daunting task ahead, he could not ignore the plight of the one who had shown such kindness to humanity. Heracles climbed the rocky precipice and approached Prometheus, who looked at him with eyes filled with both pain and hope. Heracles, wielding his mighty club, struck down the eagle with a single blow, ending the torment of the Titan. Grateful for his deliverance, Prometheus offered Heracles crucial advice for his quest. He spoke of Atlas, the Titan condemned to hold up the sky for eternity. Prometheus revealed that Atlas was the father of the Hesperides and had access to the garden where the golden apples grew. More importantly, Atlas could retrieve the apples himself, sparing Heracles from the wrath of the dragon Ladon. With this new plan in mind, Heracles set out to find Atlas. The journey to the place where Atlas bore the weight of the heavens was arduous, but Heracles was relentless. He finally found the Titan. His massive frame stooped under the immense burden of the sky. Atlas, his face etched with eternal strain, looked at Heracles with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Heracles explained his mission and proposed a deal. He would take on the burden of holding the sky if Atlas would fetch the golden apples from the garden. Atlas, eager for a reprieve from his endless task, readily agreed. Heracles positioned himself under the sky, feeling its unimaginable weight pressed down upon him. Despite his incredible strength, the burden was almost overwhelming, but Heracles endured. Atlas, now free to move, made his way to the garden of the Hesperides. The Hesperides welcomed their father and, recognizing the rightful connection, allowed him to pluck the golden apples from the tree. Ladon, recognizing Atlas, did not intervene, allowing the Titan to return with the precious fruits. When Atlas returned, he held the golden apples triumphantly. However, seeing an opportunity to be free of his eternal punishment, he suggested he deliver the apples to Eurystheus himself. Heracles, sensing the Titan's intentions, agreed but requested that Atlas hold the sky for a moment so he could adjust his cloak. Atlas, unsuspecting, took back the weight of the heavens. Heracles, now free, grabbed the apples and swiftly departed. Heracles had outwitted the Titan and secured the golden apples. This labor, like those before it, showcased not only his physical prowess, but his intelligence and cunning. With the apples in hand, he set off for Mycenae, his journey nearing its end. With the golden apples in hand, Heracles returned to King Eurystheus. The king, ever fearful and envious of Heracles' prowess, didn't dare keep the apples. Instead, they were returned to the gods, preserving their divine nature. Heracles' return to Mycenae was a momentous occasion. The journey had been long and filled with trials, but Heracles' determination and strength had seen him through. As he approached the palace of King Eurystheus, the people of Mycenae gathered to witness the hero's triumphant return. They marveled at the sight of the golden apples, their radiant glow a testament to their divine origin. Eurystheus, upon seeing Heracles and the golden apples, was filled with a mixture of awe and dread. He had hoped this labor would be the one that finally defeated Heracles, but once again, the hero had prevailed. The king, known for his cowardice, did not dare touch the apples, fearing their divine power and Hera's potential wrath. Instead, he ordered Heracles to place them on the ground, not wanting to come any closer to the objects of such reverence. Word of Heracles' success quickly spread, reaching the ears of the gods on Mount Olympus. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, descended to retrieve the golden apples. She commended Heracles for his bravery and ingenuity, acknowledging the difficulty of the task he had completed. The apples, she explained, could not remain in the mortal realm, as they were gifts meant for the gods. she took them back to the garden of the Hesperides, restoring them to their rightful place. With the apples returned to the gods, Heracles had successfully completed his 11th labor. This labor, more than any before it, had tested not just his physical strength, but also his intellect and strategic thinking. Heracles had shown that he was not only a warrior, but also a cunning strategist, capable of outwitting even the mighty Titans. The people of Mycenae celebrated Heracles' achievement, honoring him as a hero who had once again triumphed against impossible odds. Yet, for Heracles, the journey was not over. One final labor remained, a labor that would take him to the very gates of the underworld and test the limits of his courage and strength. And so, Heracles prepared for his 12th and final labor. The golden apples had been retrieved, and the gods had been appeased. But what lay ahead was a challenge unlike any other: the capture of Cerberus, the fearsome hound of Hades. Join us next time as we delve into the final chapter of Heracles' epic saga. Thanks for watching Mythstory and Legends. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more epic tales from mythology. See you next time.